covered by Medicare or your private insurance. The Health Alert Hotline is your brace company. These specialized braces have been tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility and to learn how to use your private insurance or Medicare to minimize your out-of-pocket cost. Don't wait. If the deadline passes, you may lose your opportunity to get a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace at little or no cost to you.
800-368-6704. 800-368-6704. 800-368-6704. That's 800-368-6704.
All right, 15 minutes before 12 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice, sort of kind of nice looking Monday, isn't it? It was raining all
I can see
pretty
it.
much all morning, yes.
It's sunny.
Nice day. Nice.
Well, you call that sunny?
Yeah, it's
That's
sunnier.
overcast. That's overcast. That's not
So 2 weeks from today, it'll be the beginning of Nurses Week, and I thought I would talk about nurses a little
Well,
bit.
take it easy on the subject. Nurse it along. Okay.
So
I'm
do you
sorry.
have any stories? I mean, do you have a nurse that comes to mind as somebody, oh my gosh, this was a great nurse? Do you have somebody that comes to mind?
No.
No? Robin, do you?
Yeah, your sister-in-law,
And
Norma.
that took care of
she
that.
was a fabulous nurse.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was,
right.
Wonderful. Your mom and dad were so proud when she got her white cap, and she was always so good with the people.
So I here's my story. I had cancer on my nose, a little cancer, skin cancer, and it was no big deal. But the doctor who did it did a great job, but had no clue what he said to me. I just, what did he say? Did he?
You don't understand what he said.
Not because he had an accent, but because he was talking over my head. You know.
Oh, I mean, no big words.
Yeah. Yeah. So when he left, I said to the nurse, "What did he say? What does that mean?" And she, remember, Robin was in the room. Remember, she explained to me what it was.
Well, they go to college to dumb it down, you know.
And that's exactly what I needed. Yeah.
Oh, I'm right there with you, Larry. It's like,
And so I remember saying to Robin, the doctor, thank God he was really good. But the bedside manner, or whatever you call it, he didn't have those skills. He didn't know how to communicate to his patients.
it said,
Yeah,
and off he went.
yeah, that's a good sound effect for him. Yeah.
Yeah, many nurses have smoothened out the rough edges. shall
Yeah,
we
and
say.
same thing.
You know, and if you had a relative that was in the hospital for a long time, you got to know the nurses and everything. And then one time, when my dad was in the hospital, I made a phone call and I got a delivery from Hartford, Connecticut, of all Italian pastries. And my dad took two and he said, "Okay, give the rest to the nurses."
Oh, nice.
And their eyes got about yay big, you know, kind of thing. But they're people. They work tremendous hours, 12 hours, 14 hours a day, you know, and it's amazing. And then if you work in a factory or something, it's 9 to 5. Think to hit the clock, they're out of there. But a nurse, let's say they work at 9 to 9. Well, usually it's 7 to 7. 7 o'clock at night, they should be out of there. They're hanging around till 7:15, 7:45. Why? Well, I want to just make sure this is done and this is done. I'm going, isn't that what the next nurse is supposed to do? Yeah, but we want to make sure it's just right for them. Mm-hmm. And then the next nurse does it for the one coming back. So, I mean, they CYA, you know, cover your assets.
Not bad for a guy who didn't have a nurse's story, huh?
Yeah.
I had to prime the engines, but I had to.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law was a nurse at Monroe Regional Medical Center in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and she worked third shift, and that was when they were just 9-hour shifts back then. She worked third
Just
shift.
9-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Okay,
And she had to put up with a lot, but she went through and she hardly ever lost her temper. She was amazing.
I watched nurses and what would they call candy strippers,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, and you know, beside the intravenous and the pill regiment and all, just the cleaning of the bed and the patient themselves and
Oh, my gosh.
that, you know, it's human being. It's, you know, we all do it, but we always do it in the room, you know.
All right.
But there, you're confined to a bed, so you do it in the bed.
Oh my God!
You know, and then here's a pan here, and there's and you know, and it's like, and they tell you,
the man with sound effects.
I love that, though.
He's a sound effect
Sends
man.
it home.
yeah, well, you're sitting there, and then you know that woof comes by you, and you go, and they tell you, the nurse will swallow. What? swallow, and it reverses.
I can't wait for you to be called to be a witness at in a courtroom. I'm going to be watching the stenographer, and I'm going to be saying, "How's she going to write that?"
Yeah, you'll make fun of me, no?
Well, no, I mean you talk in sound effects.
I always do. I always have. I don't
went
know
to
why.
the store and all of a sudden, boom, and bing, and everything that happened, all of a sudden, bing, ba-dong, and it's like, oh. And the funny thing is, I know what you're talking about.
Well, that's it. Well, I don't have a sound effect man next to me, so I have to do it all myself. What can I say? What can I say? But getting back to that, when they leave, that patient is powdered, just about powdered and perfect, you know.
Exactly.
And then what really gets me about an hour later, come and check. Okay, all right, you know, or not.
Did you say the old lady comes in and checks?
Right? No, I said they come back and check.
Oh, they said the old lady. Okay.
Well, we see you hear what you want to hear.
So I want to tell you about some nurses that
Okay.
have been great nurses. Are you ready for some?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to hear the bad ones.
Have you ever heard of Virginia Henderson?
No.
Oh, you're just gonna spit names out. Just tell us what they've done.
Well, she was known. Well, you might know some of these names. She was known as the First Lady of Nursing. She graduated from the Army School of Nursing in 1921. This was World War I, of course, at the time. She came up with the solid definition of her vocation, describing nursing as, quote, assisting individuals to gain independence in relation to the performance of activities contributing to health or its recovery. So that's now the official definition, and
Oh,
you can
nice.
thank
What
her.
wasn't ever that famous nurse
Nightingale.
Nightingale?
You want to hear about Florence?
Oh boy, he knows her by her first name. I can just say, "Hey, Florence, come over, will you?"
Yeah, everybody knows Florence Nightingale. Usually credited with founding the nursing profession of today.
Uh-huh.
When she was a teenager, it is believed that she heard a divine voice that called to her and wanted her to become a nurse. Did you know that?
Wow,
No, I
that's
didn't
deep.
know that.
Did you ever have
That's
that
why
happen to
she
you?
wanted-
I want you to be a radio announcer.
No. No. You got a good voice. You should be in radio. That's all I always heard.
That's true for you.
Always
How
heard.
did I end up here? That's what I want to know. During her
Before my time.
During her time, Florence Nightingale, women of her age and social status were to become mothers, and nursing was well out of the picture, as it was often seen a profession someone from a very low class would have.
Oh my gosh, I never
I
knew
am
that.
so sorry they thought of it. But that was way back when, right? When they thought stupid things like that.
Yeah, because they thought doctors were the only ones that knew how to take care of patients.
Without the nurses, I mean, yes, the doctors do the nitty gritty, quote unquote, but the nurses are the foundation of the everyday to day. The doctor will visit you 20 minutes, half hour sometimes, explain things. He talks to the patient, and then he's gone. So what do you do for the next until he comes around? They usually come around every 4 hours, 8 hours. If you're lucky.
Nobody likes to be called something that ends with IST. You don't want to be a cyst, right?
What? A cyst?
Cyst.
Oh, you
You
got a
don't want
cyst
to
on
be
your
a
neck? What?
racist.
Oh.
You don't want to be called a
assistant?
sexist. A sexist, right?
Yes.
But I
Good.
bet you all three of us are sexists when it comes to nurses.
No.
You really don't think so?
Nope.
A male nurse comes into your room and he's
Yeah.
going to check your bedpan.
Good for him.
You have no problem with that being a man?
None.
Well, good for you.
I got no problem.
I don't have a problem
I'm
with
looking
it.
at if I'm
me-
incapacitated that far, what do I care?
Let me ask you a different way. The doctor says, all right, a nurse will be in here in just a bit. And then a man walks in.
Okay.
Are you surprised he's a nurse?
No, not anymore. Now, 10 years ago, yes.
Your vision is all of a sudden shattered.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I would have. I would have went,
How about this?
I don't want a man touching me.
How about this?
Now, then,
How about this? A nurse says to you, a female nurse says to you, the doctor will be here in just a bit, right?
Yeah.
And then in a little while, a male nurse comes in.
okay.
You automatically assume he's the doctor.
Sometimes,
Right.
yeah, you can screw that up.
So that's what I mean. I think.
But on the other hand, the doctor comes in, and it's a female. Do you think it's
Right.
a nurse?
Exactly. That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Well, I will say one thing.
That's what I'm trying to say, Joe. Is
As I got older,
it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying I think
Well,
we're all
here's an example that
sexist
happened-
in this regard.
that happened to me in the past year, Larry. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there, and then this nice young lady come in, and she's talking to me and everything, and it says, basically, I'll paraphrase what I said. I said, you explained that almost like a doctor. She says, I am the doctor. I mean, the girl looked like she was in her 20s.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's
But
part of
she
it,
wasn't.
too. That's part of it, too.
But she was so young. Of course, the older I get, the younger they look.
Everybody does, yeah.
Yeah, but she was so young and so petite. I mean, she was tiny, a tiny little
Because
thing.
doctors should be big, ugly men. That's what it should be.
Well, no, a scalpel is sharp for no matter what size you are, Then you're done.
But I guess the point
Or-
I'm trying to make is that in a world where we're trying to say that we are not sexist and not racist, I think sometimes we don't mean to be. We realize it's wrong to be, but it's hard to not be.
Well, how many what's on TV? All the doctors were men way back,
Right.
until Grey's Anatomy came by.
Right, exactly.
Well, if you thought about it, Dr. Kildare, Dr. And they're all
Dr. Welby.
Dr. Welby, yeah, Marcus Welby,
Yeah.
they're all men.
So the point being that I want to make sure that the male nurses know we appreciate you too.
Oh, heck yeah, oh yeah.
So do you have a male nurse name?
I have Shannon.
That's famous.
My nephew. Oh, no, I don't have a male. That's what I'm trying to point out. All the top 10 nurses, all female. I'm not complaining
Well-
about it. I'm just saying that's what it is.
Did you ever have a nurse, female nurse, has to do something with the patient? She whistles, gets another nurse. This time it's a man that comes in.
She whistles.
Yeah, she whistles.
Come here, Trigger.
Oh my God.
No, come here, George. Let's say his name is George. Here comes George. All right?
That's my nephew, yeah.
Yeah. We need to pick up this patient. No problem.
That's right.
And she does her thing. The nurses helping each other. So it's like, okay, there's a positive twist to this, because otherwise it would have said, come here, Betty, Meddy, and all the female nurses get together to move this one patient. We get the man in there, it's just her and him. Boom, all done.
So I want to know how many, if we have any male nurses or female doctors listening.
Right, let us go to Larry.
No, I just want you to call in and tell me, do you experience this all the time? Do we as the general public do this to you all the time? Are men or even women always surprised if you're a female doctor that you're a doctor?
I think it's less and less, Larry.
It's less and less, but I'm wondering if it still happens at all.
I think it does.
I would say it happens if you're over 60. It would happen more if you're the patient or the family. There we go. But the younger generation, I think they're all used to it now.
Maybe so,
Because like I said, I'm going to go back to TV. Grey's Anatomy has broken the stereotype. And there used to be an old joke way back when, and the punchline was it was a doctor, but it was a girl. It was like, damn, I didn't think of that.
Oh, yeah, riddle. Yeah.
A riddle,
Yeah.
So it was like, oh,
Yeah.
shoot, yeah, of course, yeah, Kerr, something like that. And I don't know. Women are more tolerant to pain than men.
I
Men
think
make
so.
the worst patients in the world, and that's where I give the credit to the nurses.
Mm-hmm.
The men, and the woman will be there, and that's it.
There's
That's
just sound effects again.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway,
You'd be a great nurse, actually.
well,
I think so.
The doctor's going to come in here a little bit. He'll go, and he'll pull.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
got the
Hey, you got your light on the top of your head. Yeah, all right. Go ahead,
He
yeah.
does. He's got his flashlight on. There
Hey,
it is.
it's turned on though. Yeah, you should
Yeah,
turn it off.
I see it. There
Poor guy
you go.
can't see. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
About what?
I don't know.
You would keep everybody happy, Joe.
Oh, I would entertain them. That's for sure.
You'd be the Robin Williams character. What's his name? Doctor with the red nose. What was that?
Oh, can't remember his name.
Patch Adams.
That's
Patch
it.
Adams. Thank you.
That's it.
I was just pausing.
Dan was in that movie, right?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
A couple of times.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for putting up with me for another day.
As we get closer to Nurses Week, I will kind of try to spotlight a nurse, a famous nurse, and if we have any local nurses that you would like to have us sponsor, let us know. Not sponsor, but
no,
Spotlight.
talk about.
Spotlight will be working.
Spotlight, that's the word. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, give us the legal ID, Joe. Legal ID.
This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Secretary of State nominee Mike Pompeo gets a vote in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee today. Fox's Rich Edson reports.
The math right now.